I know not everyone wants to hear this, but you have got to have a plan. Whether you are writing a quick 2-minute song or an hour-long symphony, you must have some sort of plan. Of course, this does not mean that you have to creatively restrict yourself or that you can't jump straight into things. All you need are some ideas to work with at the start, otherwise you are likely to fall flat on your face, like I have many times, and be discouraged when your masterpiece doesn't come to fruition. Honestly ask yourself, how am I going to write great music when I don't even know what I am supposed to do or where I'm supposed to go with it? Of course, there will always be people who are exceptions to this, but even they have at least an overall feeling to their piece before writing down the first notes. What I mean is that you probably need a plan. The average songwriter and composer should plan out their work before making it, simply as a way to keep organized and raise the chances of them actually finishing their work and at a higher quality. Think of how many unfinished songs you have on your computer. On my old laptop, I had dozens upon dozens of old MuseScore 3 projects that I eventually had to delete from the amount of mental space they were taking up. They sounded good, and I wanted to use them or expand them, but I simply didn't know how at that point. I'm not saying you need to delete any unfinished projects. I just want you to feel that weight it puts on you so that you'll plan. Alright, if you are still listening, that means you are open to the idea of planning your music. Good stuff. And although the order of events I am going to say is nice, even I don't always strictly follow it, because the process of making art is often different from project to project and person to person. You should start planning with a mood in mind. You want to convey an emotion or perhaps several emotions, I assume. Well, take those feelings, lay them out in a specific order, and from that you can make a structure. Perhaps you want a piece that begins charming and pleasant, but by the end it is solemn and devastating in its melancholy, or any other range of emotions. Just keep a mental note of that when making the structure. Now, how do you make a good structure? Well, this is not quite what this video is about, but there are plenty of classical or modern structures to talk about, many of them fitting different emotional arcs. You could even make a structure from scratch, which is completely fine. Now that the structure is in place, it's time to think of some basic ideas. The best way to do this is to go to a piano or any other instrument and with your structural moods in mind, start fiddling around with the creative part of your brain until something neat pops up. One strong motif can be demonstrated in many different moods given proper context and development. And I must say, any piece of music that revolves around a few related strong motives, if executed and developed properly, will be a very, very strong piece of music. This is a mistake that I make a lot. I think of many different unrelated ideas and put them together thinking it will work out. Sometimes it does, but often it doesn't, and I need to go back to the drawing board. So don't make this mistake. If you are going to use several core motives, make sure they are related to each other somehow on a basic level. This could mean a shared interval, rhythm, or climactic point. Either way, cohesion is super important. So now you have a structure based on emotion and logic, as well as a good idea or two to use when composing. This is the hard part, and where many projects fail, but trust me, you can succeed. Take your idea in its most basic form and write it down. From there, expand it into several, but not too many, staves or tracks. This could be through turning it into a full-fledged melody with harmony, or something more abstract. And remember, you are not starting at any particular point in your piece's structure, unless you really want to. You are simply expanding upon your motives to get more ideas to use later. If you feel things aren't working out at this stage, that is perfectly fine and normal. You can backtrack, find new ideas, or adjust your structure. You can also keep pushing ahead and adjusting your basic ideas until it all makes sense. No matter what, do not give up. You must not give up during this phase. You have already spent time and effort thinking of motives and a structure, and perhaps you are emotionally invested by this point as well. We've all felt the urge to scrap an early project, and perhaps I've done it many times, but now you are different. You are smarter and will finish what you start because you have a plan. Once you have the basic ideas laid out, you can now begin the piece in earnest, starting wherever in the structure you want and adjusting along the way. This is only the beginning, and there's so much more to do, but you can certainly finish it. So as a recap, noting that this structure isn't set in stone, of course, begin your music not with notes on the page, but with a brainstorming process. Think of a mood or a series of moods that you want to cover, and from that make an intelligent structure. Then you should begin thinking of some motives and ideas that will fit within these moods and the structure. Remember, a single or limited amount of core motives will strengthen your piece of music throughout all parts of its structure. Furthermore, get started on the sketch and begin plopping these ideas down on staff paper or the software. Do not be discouraged if you run into creator's block. There is always a way to solve practically any musical problem. Just keep trying new things and the path will open up. Alright, good luck in making the rest of your song. If you want some help with developing your core motives and ideas, or have any writer's block right now, watch this video right here. It'll help with that.